All right, guys, may not be Tuesday, but here comes your fantasy advice. No, it's a little late. Probably these people were already picked up off the waivers. But number one, Kirk Cousins versus Dallas. Dallas's defense has given up a lot. You saw what they did to Matt Flynn. It's just a big mess over there. So I think that Kirk Cousins is a viable play. Jay Cutler versus Philly. Even though Philly's defense has done a little bit better, Jay Cutler should have a good time. You saw what Matt Castle did against Philadelphia's defense. It's a very good sign. And then next, Matt Schaub versus Denver. Denver's defense gives up a lot. Matt Schaub is playing for his career. He wants to start next year. It's not going to be with Houston. So I imagine that he will be starting very well for Houston the last two games. Next, wide receivers, Ted Ginn Jr. I like Ted Ginn Jr. because Steve Smith is hurt. They're going to be looking to get the ball in someone else's hands to get them to make big plays. I think it's going to be Ted Ginn. Next is Robert Woods going against Miami. Robert Woods, him and Thad Lewis, I think will find a connection because Stevie Johnson will be out. They're going to need someone to step up, and the USC wide receiver has been impressive so far. And then next, T.Y. Hilton versus Kansas City. This week, Indianapolis, the coaches there said that they want to get T.Y. Hilton involved more in the offense. I think they do. I think he gets a lot of points. And then tight ends, Martellus Bennett going against Philly. I think it's going to be a shootout, but again, you saw what Matt Castle did. I think Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall and Matt Forte get the biggest coverage out of this game, so Martellus Bennett should have some one-on-ones. So I think he'll do good. Next, number two, Zach Miller going against Arizona. Arizona struggles against tight ends. Good for Seattle, plus Seattle's at home. Always helps. And then last, Jacob Tamme going against Houston, which may be a surprise because people think, oh, why not Julius Thomas? Well, one, he wouldn't be a surprise to start. And two, Jacob Tamme's probably going to be taking over the role of Wes Welker, going in the slot. For some of the plays at least. That one wide receiver last week did pretty well. Can't remember his name. And Houston struggles against tight ends. Now next, running backs. One, Mike Tolbert. D'Angelo Williams should move the ball between the 20s. Mike Tolbert will be the guy to score you the touchdowns. Number two, Kendall Hunter versus Atlanta. Now you may think Frank Gore's going to get a lot of carries, but think about it. They're not going to lose to Atlanta. They're probably going to give Kendall Hunter a lot of the carries so that Frank Gore is well rested for the playoffs. You got to remember he's somewhere around 30 with 1,000-yard seasons over and over again on bad offenses. He moves his legs. Tough guy and has had a couple surgeries on his legs already. And then last, Ray Rice going against New England. New England's the middle of their defense, linebacker-wise, and defensive tackle isn't good. Ray Rice. The next kicker, Justin Tucker, should I say more. Nick Novak going against Oakland. I think Oakland can stop San Diego sometimes, which, I mean, it's better than nothing. And then next, Dan Carpenter going against his old team, Miami. Again, I think the Bills move the ball very well against the Dolphins, and I think they get a couple touchdowns and a couple field goals. Then defense, Carolina going against New Orleans. I think New Orleans doesn't do well on the road. They're going against a great front seven. Team wants to win, so look for Carolina over New Orleans. And then next, Detroit going against the Jets. Are going against the Giants. Sorry, the other team's Cleveland's defense. You want to pick up going against the Jets. I think Detroit, after watching New York get shut out last week, should have a pretty good time going against New York this week. They're obviously not as talented as Seattle, but they should get you some points. Then next, Cleveland going against the Jets. You saw them have a couple touchdown returns last week on their defense against Jay Cutler. I mean, overall, even with a 38 points scored, they still had over 10 points. So, Cleveland's defense over the Jets. All right, guys, fantasy help, next, news, power rankings, all fun stuff. Gonna get it all in 2 days. Let's go. By the way, again, almost forgot, make me famous.